Welcome to The Beauty Shift, proudly sponsored by Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I'm Michelle Phillips. I'm a celebrity stylist and beauty expert, a national TV personality, and self-confidence coach. And over the years, I've worked with some of the most recognized faces in the world, helping them look and feel their absolute best inside and out. That ultimate inner outer wow. Now that's true beauty, my friends. What does it take to reinvent yourself? And how can you embrace change with confidence, strength, and grace? Well, today I'm sitting down with someone who knows all about transformation, both personally and professionally. She's a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Judy Crowell, and she is a renowned TV host. She's a style expert and formerly of QVC and HSN, where she was a megastar, known for her timeless beauty, her inspiring presence, and the ability to connect with women around the world. Over the years, Judy has evolved not only in her career, but also through her personal health and fitness journey. After facing a personal health battle with breast cancer, Judy made it her mission to prioritize strength and wellness and helping other women feel their best at every stage of their life. And now she's channeling that passion into her YouTube series, which I absolutely love. It is called Get Fit with Judy, where she shares simple, effective workouts that are designed to help us ladies strengthen and build muscle no matter what age or fitness level. Today, she's here with us to share her insights on beauty, on wellness, on reinvention, and she's also going to share with us how fitness plays a key role in aging with confidence and vitality. So please, without further ado, help me welcome to The Beauty Shift my dear friend, the beautiful Judy Crowell. Judy, I'm so excited to have you here on the show.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. It's so good to see you. You're in Belize right now.
Yep, I
And
am. You can probably
you
even
have
tell by the
moved.
decor that there's a lot of wood and a lot of nature. And I was going to try to show you one of the scenes, but sometimes if you show a background that's really, really light, then you just see the silhouette, ears, and a jawline.
Oh, I know.
So I said, all right, let's move it inside.
I know. But when you did send me pictures, I was like, okay, we need to get on a plane soon and come
And
visit.
come down. Yeah. It'll
Wow.
be
It is
worth it.
beautiful there. And of course, I miss you. I mean, it's just so good to see you. And again, we always say that whenever we reconnect, it's as if we just hung out yesterday. Just
Absolutely. Whether it's been a month, a day, or 2 years, that's how we always feel. So our problem is not what to talk about, it's when to stop talking.
exactly.
We could go
And
for
that's
days and days.
a lot. And that's why I'm so excited to have you here today. Because whenever you and I sit down and start talking, our conversations always are so interesting and fun. And you're so inspiring to me. When we
Oh,
met
thank
many
you.
years ago, many moons ago, I guess it was like 15 maybe years ago in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We were both working
Yeah.
in shop television there for Shop NBC. And we were both
Yep.
going through a big transition in life,
Oh,
one of
yeah.
many. So we're going to talk about today.
Oh,
And
yeah. Many episodes.
many. And so we really did lean on each other. We had a lot in common. And you were always so inspiring to me. And one of the things I'm always grateful for, not only what a great friend, but you also started me on my fitness journey.
Yes.
Yes,
That was
because I was in my
fun. That was fun.
I was early in my 40s and I didn't like to work out very much. And I think it's because I didn't
Mhm.
know how.
Right.
And
And I think that's the problem with a lot of people who know they should, maybe even want to get into it, but they really don't know how, and they think they might be doing something wrong, or they're intimidated, or they don't know how to begin, or they think, oh gosh, I had an injury and am I going to re-injure myself if I get into it again? So I know you were having issues, not with injury at the time, but I think you were being taught the wrong way. And you started to say, you know what, Judy, I know I should be exercising, but my clothes aren't fitting anymore because I'm getting bulky. So
right.
that's kind of where you and I started.
That's exactly right. I forgot about that until you just
Yeah.
mentioned a good memory.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's right because I was learning from a trainer and I was getting bigger, bulkier.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
was like,
Instead of
oh
just
no.
defined and toned. Yeah.
Right.
Which is
And
what you want.
look amazing. And I was like, well, what do you do? And so you took me to the gym and you taught me
Hmm.
how to exercise with lower, basically smaller weights, not the
Yes.
big heavy weights,
Right.
and then higher repetitions. And you taught me
Yes.
exercises that were very simple. In fact,
Yes.
whenever I go to the gym with my husband, he's always like, "Oh, you have the same kind of routine, every few days." I'm like, "That's the Judy Crowell routine."
I
And I would,
love that.
and then you got me into barre, and I would go to barre 3. So we're going to talk about that
Okay.
before the
Yeah.
show is over,
Love
because
it.
I really feel that your fitness information will change the way women look at working out, and also will share your YouTube channel where you have so many wonderful fitness workout videos that we can
Yes,
do
ma'am.
from our
Yes, at
home.
home. It's really fun. I try to have a good time with the music, and we stick to the beat of the music so you can kind of keep up that tempo. We make it fun, but also there's a lot of movement. And I call them fitness toys because I like to use weights and fitness balls and fitness bands and a mat, yoga mat. So we just move from one to the next to the next. And the videos don't really require a lot of time. You can spend 5 minutes, you can spend 20 minutes, you can spend 35 minutes, or you can even combine the videos together if you wanted to focus on just arms and then another day focus on abs or hips and thighs. You can do that. But if you feel like a full workout, hey, I've gotten on the clothes, I've dedicated the time, now I'm in my mode, I'm all by myself, I've got my big screen TV on, let me go to YouTube and put on that video. You can go from one to the next to the next. But I'm really glad you like them, and I have just a ball doing them. I really
I
do.
do.
I'm
I do.
motivated to do them.
And I wanted to talk to you about maybe sharing them with my beauty membership. I have a membership
Okay.
for women, just helping them look and feel their best, especially as they're going through the aging process. Because so many women, and I know you have
Mhm.
this as well, they come to me and they say, "I don't know where to start. I don't know what products to use. I don't know what foods to eat, or what exercise programs are good and which aren't." And so, with so many wonderful experts, and also my background in beauty, health, and wellness, it's just wonderful to have so many of us come together and have those resources for women in one place so that they're not
Absolutely.
always searching. And I think that's what is the sisterhood. And that's what I love about this podcast. It's really kind of
Yeah.
sharing that sisterhood of, okay, this is what we all do. We all share information so that
Hmm.
way we're informed and we can make better choices for ourselves. Bottom line.
Right. And it's not so scary entering into, or I also feel like people who find your site and watch your podcast or a part of your community can feel as though they're not as intimidated and they're not alone. That if there are that many people who are wanting this information and we want to share it with our friends and we want to share it with our family members, our sisters, our moms, our other family members, daughters-in-law, then they really have a place where they can go. And it's someone you trust because you've learned from it. And we can't all be experts in everything. So we kind of look for those experts in the different fields of study where we can go, oh, so that makes much more sense to me now, right?
So true. And it's more and more difficult, I think, as we're going through the aging process. However, everything we're teaching applies to all ages. When I met you, you were on television and sharing your own clothing line. And
Mm-hmm.
you were the top QVC host for 20 years, just before you left and then gone to Shop NBC to start your own line as opposed to being a host. So
Yes, yes.
talk about just your career when you were in that QVC world. And I mean, I know you worked with some of the biggest stars, some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and you had
Yes.
a blast.
Yeah, I did have a blast, and it was a fascinating career. It was really, really fun. Met so many great people. Um, Even more before that background that you asked me about, I'll tell you a little bit about my adventurous spirit because I was an Army brat growing up. And so we moved all the time. Every couple of years, I was in a new school. So I had went to 3 elementary schools and 2 junior high schools and 3 high schools and 2 colleges, and it was constant change. And a lot of people would say, wow, wasn't that really difficult growing up? Well, it was always another adventure. And so even in my career, I found myself needing another adventure. So it was kind of hard for me to settle in. So 15, 20 years of doing the same thing, as wonderful a career as it was, and I am so grateful for it and still love so many of the people at QVC and have gotten back in to working with them again, which I'll tell you more about. But I guess I felt like I needed, what else is out there? It's sort of that, is this all there is? So I decided to change and get on the other side. And instead of being a host, I thought it would be really fun to start my own line. So in fact, if I can put in a little plug, my little earrings are part of my Judy Crowell jewelry collection now, Michelle. I have a jewelry collection that's on Kohl's.com. It's on Amazon.com. It's on shopgemistry.com. And I'm going to be bringing a whole new line into QVC.com.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. And, but going back to what you said
Yeah.
about the career and the changes, there were many months and in some cases years where it was scary because transition is not always smooth. And it may look like it from the outside, like somebody has the world by the tail. But a lot of times you're kind of in this little bubble thinking, did I do the right thing? And is there really a net that I'm going to land in? And then that net breaks through and you don't land. And suddenly you're going, okay, now what? Now what do I do? And where do I turn? And so there's a lot of self-analysis that you go through. And I know you've been through this so many times, which is why one of the reasons we relate to each other so well. But there's always something around the corner. It may not be in the timeline that you're expecting it to be, but for people who say, it's never going to happen for me, or I'm just not good enough, I'm never going to get there. You really have to have, and I'm not very good at this, but I've learned patience, because that's really, you have to have 3 things to me in life: gratitude, forgiveness, and patience. And it's really tough. But if you can reach out to people like you and I've done with each other so many times, to be able to talk it through, or get out a journal and write in that journal, these are all my qualities. These are all my great qualities. This is what I have to offer either a spouse, if you're single and you really are looking for a great relationship, or a job, and you want to find that perfect job and it's just not happening for you. It's not coming your way. The phone's not ringing. Journal about all these things that you have to offer and that they're going to benefit from in you as a person. I don't know. I could go on and on and on.
So no, I agree. I totally agree with you. No, I completely agree with you. In fact, the gratitude part is so important. And I just talked about this recently with Emmy, which is another podcast that I just came out. We talked about how important it is to practice gratitude on a daily basis. Yeah. And I do so before I get out of bed in the morning. I spend at least 20 to 30 minutes. I lay there in kind of a meditative state and just start listing over and over, like, all the things I'm grateful for before I get out of bed in the morning, because I feel as if when my feet hit the ground, if I don't do that, I could start going in a different direction. Like, what meetings do I have today? I need to be at this appointment, that appointment, or all of the things that I have on my to-do list, which can go into a spin. But when you start in gratitude, I feel as if whatever we focus on expands. So when we start in that state, or if we start to get throughout the day stressed out, or something happens that's out of our control that does stress us out or upsets us, going back to that gratitude again, because we can be so focused on what's wrong as opposed to what's right. So I do love what you said about the journaling too, because how often do we focus on what's not working, what failures we've had, our fears, all of the worry that you and I talk about. Sometimes it's like, why do we worry about things that are not even existing?
Yeah.
It hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's true. And I
Yeah.
think, you and I were talking about this as well when you asked me to be on your podcast. And you think when you're younger, well, I'm going through this now, but when I get older, I'm going to be so wise and I'm going to grow out of this and it's all going to be wonderful and perfect. And I don't know if the older we get, the more we analyze. So the more we expect ourselves to be more perfect than we were back then. But I think women at every age, whether you're in your 20s, your 40s, your 60s, or your 80s, we all go through this. And there are strength in numbers. So it's nice to hear. Here's another thing that I was talking to a girlfriend last night. She invited me over for dinner. And I said to her, it's so interesting talking to you because from the outside looking in, it looks like you have everything. Like you have looks, you have a beautiful figure, you have a wonderful husband who absolutely adores you. He couldn't stop talking about what a find he had in his wife. And so then we got into her background and her children and what had happened to her kids, and one in particular, and whether it was a loss of a child or a drug situation. No one knows what someone else is going through.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what you look like, no matter how much money you have, no matter the fame in your name, there's not a soul on this earth that doesn't go through those same highs and lows, maybe at different times of life. But we all have to think, if you think about that, you realize you're never alone. There's
No.
always someone else who's that. And I used to think about this, and I'll bring it back to your question earlier about fitness and exercise. I used to think about this when I was trying to lose weight because I was heavy when I was a young girl and I was heavy in college. And when I made this decision, I wanted to look good. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be fit. I said, okay, this is what I've got to do. And I made the commitment. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to cut all my portions in half. And then I'm going to do something every day. It doesn't have to be even an hour or every other day to get to that point where I want to be. We have to take control of that because it's not going to be done for us. So I would say, okay, think about somebody you admire. Think about, it could be a famous person. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a friend. It could be a friend's mom who you just think is the cat's pajamas. Think about somebody you admire and say, okay, would they have that piece of cake right now? Would they skip exercise on a day like this? Or are they doing something to commit to themselves being a better person? Then I'm not going to have that piece of cake, and I'm going to move somehow. I'm going to take a walk around the block. I'm going to walk a mile and come back. And do you know, when you focus on someone like that, who you admire, and you think, well, they're not doing this, or they are doing that, then I know what it takes, and I'm going to do it too. Maybe that sounds really stupid, but somehow that worked for me. Putting it in my head, a visual.
I love that. And when you said something that really struck a chord with me, because it was something that I had to really think about several years ago when I was going through a major change, committing to myself.
Yeah.
We commit to everyone else
Yeah.
all the time. But how often do we commit to ourselves and say, okay, Michelle, this is it. What do you need today? Because this is important, what you want, whether it be better health, whether it be better relationships, whether it be something that I want career-wise, whatever it is, or with my children, it doesn't matter. How am I going to commit to myself to make those improvements or those adjustments? And it's really eye-opening when you start to think about, oh, I really leave myself out of the equation a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I've committed, things have, my husband even said to me recently, there is a project I was working on, and I've been working on it just consistently, very excited about it, didn't know where it was going to go. Just it's something that's a passion of mine. And it came to fruition and in a really big way. And he went, wow, you really committed to that. And look what's happening.
Yeah.
And that I feel is just, again, it's so easy to put the focus outside of ourselves
Yes.
and not on ourselves. And once we
Hmm.
do really, and it's not a selfish thing, it's really a self-awareness, because
Yes.
I think a lot of times as well as women, we're hesitant to share when we're struggling.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I do, because you want to put forth to the world that all is well and all is right and it's all going great, and you don't want to be one of those poor me. I'd
Right.
rather, let's focus on you, because I don't want to talk about, me or my problems or my issues, because if it doesn't get fixed within a month or 6 months or a year, and now a year from now you're still struggling and looking for that answer, you become this broken record. And then you worry, okay, well, nobody's going to want to be around me because I am just, wallowing in my tears all the time. But here's another thing that I did. This didn't happen to be about a career, but I think it could be. I really think it could pertain to a lot of things. And it was about a relationship, because I was always, when I was younger, I was always in relationships of some sort, but I found that they were the wrong type of people that I was looking for. And then I was still late 30s, early 40s, and hadn't, found the one. And I decided, you know what, this is silly. Goes back to that journaling. This is just really silly. I am going to write down everything that I feel is a great quality. And then I'm going to turn the page and I'm going to write down everything in my life that's going well. Kind of goes back to that gratitude thing we were talking about. Everything I have, the friends and the family, and I could build my own home, and I can have my own stereo and listen to the music I want to listen to. I can travel. I can go where I want to go. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
have a good career, but you focus on what you don't have. And so when I started focusing on what I do have, what I did have, I could say, okay, so let's say I die tomorrow, and I never had that husband or that relationship that in my mind is the end all be all. And if I have that, I'll finally be happy. I let it all go. I said, if I die tomorrow, look at all this other stuff that I had in my life that's so amazing. It will
Right.
have been a great life. And when you let it go and you put a smile on your face and you live your life and you put on that positive attitude, and I don't mean to be Pollyanna, but
No.
that whole fake it till you make it thing is real. So
Yep.
be that friend that you look for in other people.
Yeah.
Be that daughter, be that mom, be that colleague that supports others and promotes others and thanks others and is appreciative of others. And you will find that all that goodness does come back to you, and that you stop being down, that
Right.
it lifts up, and all that gratitude that you talked about being appreciative of in the morning. I love that as a way of starting your day. What a wonderful habit to get
Yeah.
into, that
Mhm.
then, regardless of what happens, and my mind goes in a million different directions, but I go back to that. Do you remember that story of the Navy admiral who was giving a graduation speech to all of these graduates? And in the speech, it was almost like, regardless of everything else that was said, it went viral. Cadets, make your bed in the morning. Regardless of what happens to you the rest of your day, you accomplish something. That's you, Michelle, with your gratitude in the
Yeah.
morning. Regardless of what happens throughout your day, you said thank you. I love that little part of that speech, because it's
Um,
like, yeah, make your bed in the morning. You accomplish something, even if the rest of your day falls to, whatever.
yeah. Exactly. And exactly, because of the gratitude, if something does start to fall apart, you can go back to that. And there's that reminder that you started your day that way. And I love how that really ties into what you're talking about too, because so many of us say, I'll be happy when. I'll be
Yeah.
happy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be happy when I find the right relationship. I'll be happy when I get the right job, the right promotion. We're always waiting for something in our future to create happiness for us. And again, we have no guarantee that that next moment is going to happen. Being more present in the moment and being grateful for what we have brings that happiness and fulfillment to you because you realize, oh, wow, I do have so much to be grateful for. I do have a good life. I have my health, whatever that may be, because it can be taken away in a heartbeat. And which
Mm-hmm.
leads me to, you said it was okay to talk about this, so I hope you don't mind. I know you've gone through a breast cancer scare.
Right.
I wouldn't say
Mm-hmm.
scare. I mean, you actually had breast cancer and then it came back.
Yes.
And so
Yes. Yes.
it's been twice now because I met you right after you had gone through your first breast
Mm-hmm.
cancer treatment and
Yep.
you were fine
Yep.
and you were cancer free. And then it
Yes.
was 2 years ago. Was it a year and
Yeah.
a half, 2 years ago?
2023. You're right. It was 2023. Yep. When
Yeah,
I was
when you told
diagnosed
me, I
with,
was like, "Oh my gosh," and I felt
yeah.
this time around the fear, which is I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine,
Right.
and so with that being, "I'll be happy when," I'm sure from your perspective, you're like, "Wow, no, don't go there because be grateful for everything now because it could
Because you just
change."
don't know.
Mm.
Yes, for sure. It
How did
could.
you cope
And,
with that?
you know, I think I'm thinking again about the conversation I told you I had with my girlfriend at dinner last night.
Yeah.
And we were saying that you don't you don't always know what's around the corner and what you're going to have to face,
Mhm.
and do you have the strength to do it? And I said, there are some times where it's very easy to blame your lineage, for instance. I'm still talking about your subject because
Right.
both of my grandmothers, my mom's mom and my dad's mom, both had breast cancer. I
Oh.
don't know about great grandmothers, but yes, it is in the family. My
Mhm.
mom had uh, a lumpectomy, I think, when she was in her early 20s. It wasn't cancer, it was benign, but breast issues, let's say, run in the family. So it's very easy to say, well, of course I was going to get it. I was doomed. It was, it was bound to be. But I think when I got that diagnosis the second time, I said, okay, I'm not going to play the blame game anymore.
Mm.
This is partly that, but it's partly my responsibility too. And it may have been some of the things that I did in my life, decisions that I made that may have led to this. Now, something else I'll say to you about that is we'll never know what it was caused by.
Yeah.
And to play the blame game on yourself and to turn it all around. What have I done? What did I do wrong? What my husband says to me, Paul says to me, please stop picking on my wife. I love her so much. It's not fair. I don't want to hear you do that. I'm going to get emotional, but
I am
he's right.
too. That's so Paul as well. I
It
just
is
love
so
it.
Paul, isn't
It's so awesome.
it? He's so supportive, and but it really was kind of an interesting thing to think about because I'll never know what the real reason was, whether it was me, whether it was my lineage, whether it was the way I was living my life. But I just said, okay, so here's a diagnosis. What are we going to do about it? Well, this is step one, surgery. This is step two, reconstruction. Yes, no. These are things that are in your hands, your decision. You can't make everything right now. So you're forced to wait on some of these decisions, which is probably a good thing because then you're wiser. You've lived with how you are that much longer. So you can say, is this important to me? Is it not important to me? But yeah, I went through a double mastectomy in 2023. And I thought, despite the fact that you and I are having this conversation, I've never been one to put all my personal stuff out there.
No,
I've
because
always
I've
been
interviewed
very
you before and we've never talked about this. So I applaud you. I applaud you for being so brave because I just feel like so many women, I actually have several friends that have gone through the same thing recently. It's just, I think
Really.
it's becoming yeah, more and more common. And I'm
Get
sure women
my
would love to
number
know
if
how
they
you
need to
dealt with
talk. Yeah.
it.
So I just said, okay, these are the decisions that I have to make. And since I'm not ready to go into the ground yet, I want to do what I need to do and move forward. And then again, not poor, pitiful me. Although, don't get me wrong, I had my days. We all have our days where you're just, sliding down the wall and you land on the ground and you are just in a puddle. But then it became, okay, get up the next day, one foot in front of the other. What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And of course, surrounding yourself by people who love you and people who will listen to you again and again and again for as many times as you need to talk about it. And then months went by, and now it's been almost 2 years, and knock on wood, everything's good and healthy. And I got back into my exercise, and I'm back into the jewelry things again. And so I don't know. I guess it's just trying to avoid or deny that defeatist attitude is really, really important. Really, really important. Reach out because you need to talk about it, but then say, okay, pull yourselves up by the bootstraps, and you're the only one who can make the decision to move forward. Nobody else can do that for you.
And when you were going through all of this, because I know this is very real, is the struggle with losing, your breasts, or I've got friends losing their hair. It does wreak havoc on us when, that your health is affecting your body in such a profound way. How did you get through that?
When something like that is out of your control, I think you have to realize how unimportant all those things are. At the end of the day, I haven't ever had a true near-death experience, but at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed and you're maybe having a chance to look back at your life, what were those important things? Who were you as a person? And okay, so you've lost a little bit of your hair, but are you a great person to be around? Are you fun? Are you upbeat? Are you a good listener? Do you say thank you? Do you contribute? Are you generous? Get outside yourself.
I love, how your mindset, it's so inspiring.
Well, I guess it's kind of day by day by day sometimes, and then you kind of realize, okay, so I love and I'm passionate about my fitness, so get back into that, focus on that, and then see. And then when people start coming to me and saying, gosh, I would love to know what you're doing and what are you doing for your arms? I love the way your arms look. How are you getting that definition? They're not saying, oh, wow, are those implants? Are those pads? Is that the real you? They're like, I want to have those arms. So you start realizing they're not focusing on the silly things that,
No.
right, that you think, oh my gosh, everybody's seeing that, everybody's thinking, everybody's judging me. My mom used to say, everyone else is too interested in themselves to be worried about and thinking about everything you're doing all the time.
Oh, that's true. I just want to take a quick moment to thank our amazing sponsor, Keranique, the go-to brand for women's hair growth solutions. If you're looking for healthier, thicker, more beautiful hair, no matter what hair concerns you have, Keranique has got you covered. Their products are clinically proven and dermatologist recommended, offering a complete hair care system, including treatments, shampoos, conditioners, and supplements to help you achieve stronger, fuller looking hair from the inside out. So whether you're starting your hair regrowth journey or maintaining gorgeous, healthy locks, Keranique has a solution for you. And as a Beauty Shift listener, you get 25% off site-wide. All you have to do is head over to store.keranique.com and use the code BeautyShift25 at checkout. Thanks again, Keranique, for supporting the Beauty Shift and helping women everywhere feel confident and beautiful. So now let's get back to the show. Well, Judy, I would love for you to talk about your YouTube channel and your fitness classes. Because I remember, we're talking about change, we're talking about reinvention, talking about kind of, following your purpose and your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And you've always been, you're actually a certified fitness instructor and bar instructor.
Yes, it's actually the discipline, the most recent one, because I've been certified a number of times throughout the years in personal training. And this one is called Booty Bar, which cracks people up. But it's funny because I use it when somebody new is coming to class and they'll say, now, what was your name again? I say, you know what? Just think of me as Judy Booty. And they crack up because I said, well, the discipline I teach is called, and it's trademarked, booty bar. So they're like, Judy Booty. Well, now in my development, in my community in Florida, that's what I don't think people know my last name. It's like Judy Booty. So it's just so funny how the name just kind of works. But it's a combination of, which is why I keep it moving. It's a combination of Pilates and bar, dance, ballet, yoga. There are just moves in it. And then, of course, everybody loves the cool down because all the stretching at the end is wonderful. And you realize we should be doing those things every day, regardless of what the other stuff that we do for cardio is. But yeah, the YouTube channel, I had a show on QVC from 2000 to 2002 called Get Fit with Judy. And I thought, nobody's really using it, so let me revive it. And so on YouTube, you can just look up Get Fit with Judy. And there are 90 videos now that are there of workouts that you can do. And you can do them in your home. You can do them on vacation. You can take them with you, do it on your computer, do it on your laptop, do it on your phone, put it up on your big screen TV, whatever allows you to go hands-free. And the only amount of space that you need is really, let's call it 5 to 6 feet forward and 5 to 6 feet back. And frequently I'll use, if I'm in, and I have my little studio right back there. You can see my ballet bar. I built a little studio here in my home.
I used to have one in my last home, and I don't have one in my new home because I do bar all the time too. I love it because of you.
Yeah. Well, yay. And I'm glad I could introduce you to something that's so fun and so effective and really easy on the joints. There's no jumping. There's no hopping around. It's not difficult on the knees or the ankles or the elbows or the shoulders, which is why I use very lightweight. I encourage women to use 2 to 3 pounds, because if you're not trying to get bulky, you're not trying to be in a weightlifting competition. You just want definition and tone. And you can do that with light weights. I use fitness balls. I use bands. All these things are very inexpensive, and you can get them right on Amazon. I even send links at the bottom of my videos. I'll say, hey, if you want to get some of these things that I'm using, just go below the video, click on the link, and it'll take you right there. But they're easy to have in your home. And in fact, the bands that I use, they're called loop bands, which I'm sure you use in your class. You can travel with them. So you can do leg workouts, inner and outer thigh. You can do arm workouts, chest workouts with a band, and it weighs nothing, So those are the sorts of things. I even have a video in there because it cracks me up, because I do this when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm doing leg lifts at the same time that I've got my electric toothbrush going around. And every time you hear the toothbrush beep and it's time to move to a different quarter of your mouth, I move to a different leg. So I get a 2-minute leg workout in twice a day, if nothing else. Because I'm leg lifting while I'm right.
Yeah. Because there's so many things we can be doing without having to go to a gym to work out, even constantly. Chair exercises.
Right. And I have some chair exercises on my channel. And I even tell people, now you're going to laugh at me, and this may sound silly, but how long is a stoplight when you're sitting in your car at a stoplight? And what could you be doing? Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. And I said, I know people are going to look at you like, I'll have what she's having over there in that car.
Either that or she's trying to keep from going to the bathroom.
Right. One or the other. But, I go back to what I said earlier, which is people are too busy worrying about themselves and their look and their stress or their day or to be worrying about you and what you're doing. So squeeze, release, work your glutes when you're sitting there at the stop sign or stop light, and then go. And you've gotten, another little 2-minute workout in.
Yeah.
These are things that are so simple. It's not the only thing that you should do, but it's kind of this maintenance. I think about it as maintenance throughout your day.
And be conscientious, because, when you're standing in the line in the grocery store, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm slouching, engage my core, stand up straight, stand up tall.
Stand up straight.
Which is, I love the bar class I go to. It's called Bar 3. So it sounds like your booty workout, where you start stretching with yoga, and then you go into Pilates, then you go into cardio, and then you do, the leg
weights,
work.
You do your arm weights
stuff. Yeah. Arms. Yeah. We do arms, and then legs, a lot of legs, a lot of core.
A lot of legs. Yep.
A lot.
I love the leg work.
Yes. And then I'm stretching at the end and then a meditation.
Yes.
And I'm addicted because it's like a full body workout, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
stretching and a lot of yoga movements before we get into the strength training and the cardio part of it.
And it's also great for balance. What you're doing is also really, which is so important. You know, we're talking about as we age, balance is one of the main things because it's just so easy to fall. And that's when injuries happen, bones break. So if you've got strength and tone and balance, then you're going to be much better off overall as you're getting older. Just keep doing it. And these are things that you can do at any age.
And that's what's really driven me even more. It's not as much about being a certain size or a certain weight. It's
Yeah.
about, watching my mother
Healthy.
go
Yeah.
through
Oh,
hip
yes.
replacements and knee replacements and never having the strength to really recuperate the way that she could have. And since then, she's struggled. And I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I don't want to have a weak body. I want to have a strong body. So that, and
Yeah.
also the core work, which again, I learned through the years. When I've gone to my doctor's office, they said, "Oh, you keep doing that type of exercise, and you will be extremely, flexible and strong, way like throughout your life into your elder years, and that will save you
Mm-hmm.
tremendously." And since then, because I know you and I talk about this a lot, so I'd love for you to share the importance of this. I had knee issues. I had shoulder issues before I met you because I was doing weight training,
Heavy weights.
heavy weights. I hurt my knees, I hurt my
Yeah.
shoulders. But
Yeah.
by using the lighter weights, higher repetition, and doing
Mm-hmm.
that core work and the strength work that I'm doing, I don't have
Mm-hmm.
those issues anymore. And I think people they shy away from exercise when they have issues because they
Yes.
think, oh, I don't want to make it worse. But the opposite will happen if they do it properly. So what should people
Mm-hmm.
do that do have some of those challenges?
I always tell women who come into my class, and especially at this stage, I mean, having taught aerobics when I was 21 is very different now teaching booty bar at the age of 65. And so a lot of older women will come into class and they'll say, now I just want you to know I have bad knees. Okay, check. Or somebody else said, I just want you to know, like I had sciatica for 9 months and I had such a hard time sleeping. I mean, I had to sleep in a lounge chair sitting up. It was impossible to lie down. And I think, I haven't had those things. So how am I going to relate to these women who have had issues, or to your point, shoulder issues, or elbow issues, or hip replacements? So I'll say the best thing to do is to listen to your body. And if anything that I'm doing or encouraging you to do doesn't feel right, or you say, okay, I just felt like a tweak, stop doing it. There are other things that you can do to modify. It's not worth continuing through the pain. You want a challenge, but you don't want to tweak. You
Right.
want to be able to get stronger, but you don't want to be in pain. So there are real differences that you have to recognize. And you'll also find in the workouts that you do, there are some that you like better than others. But it's been interesting that those same women have come back after a month of classes. And one said, you're not going to believe it, but my knees are actually stronger. Like my legs are stronger. Wow. Well, that's interesting because you're using those muscles and you're strengthening the muscles around those bones in a gentle way. So you've got to be able to challenge, there's that word again, challenge yourself in order to get stronger, but you don't want to go so far that you rush things. So that's one, is taking it slowly. And even the woman with sciatica said, my back is stronger. Like I'm feeling really good. I'm standing up straight. I'm not worried. I'm still being careful in the exercises, but you have to listen to your own body because, as I said before, you're the only one who knows how it feels, how you feel doing it. But take it slowly. It's like physical therapy.
Exactly. And some days I'm in class and I go to the classes because I'm a little bit more
You're
motivated.
motivated by other people and
Yeah,
also being
yeah,
held accountable going to a class, especially if you
exactly.
paid for it. You're much
Yes.
more likely to say,
Oh, I
okay, I've
love
got
that.
3 classes this week. I gotta go. I gotta
If
get my
I
money's worth.
sign up and I don't go, I get charged anyway. That's one thing. And
Exactly.
then,
Yep. Yep.
so I sign up and make my butt go. And then the
Yep.
other thing is help people. Well, help correct me if I'm doing something improperly, which is important to me because I'm very flexible. I have a tendency to do things or maybe pull from other areas instead of the core, where you're actually pulling with
Mm-hmm.
your hip flexors. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I'll start looking at my phone and reading my email when I'm working out by myself at the gym or,
Yes.
but I will say your videos though, because they're short and to
Yes.
the point, I'm actually able to stay engaged in those. So I do your videos as well, especially when I'm traveling. So I don't want to
Good. Oh,
say
that's
you have to
wonderful.
get to a class, but I really have
Yes. Yes.
found I've been now 8 years at bar 3 and then working with you, you've trained me individually on what to do when I am at the gym on my own. And I've found that, yes, I am so much more in tune with my body now.
Yeah.
And there are days when I go to work out and I know that I don't have the energy or the strength that I did yesterday or the day
Mm-hmm.
before. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just applaud myself for being there and I
Yes, you
modify.
have to. Absolutely, absolutely. And I always say that, you have to be proud of yourself. Give yourself a little pat on the back that you got up and you did it and you weren't in the mood to do it, or you didn't have the energy to do it, or you had a late night the night before, but you said, I'm going to go because I really know that I need you. You need to be really proud of yourself and say, atta girl, because I am. I really do. Even to this day, after all these years, I say, yeah, that felt great. And you know what else it's really good for? It's good for your mental state of mind
Oh my God.
because it
Yeah.
helps you sleep better. It helps you concentrate better. It helps you think more clearly. It helps your mood. And let's face it, we
Mhm.
can all have good days and bad days, regardless really of what you're going through. You don't
Yes.
sometimes even know why you didn't get enough sleep or you had too much caffeine or so exercise. It gets you sometimes out of your own way and out of your own. And after you've gotten up and then those endorphins are going, you realize, gosh, whew, I do feel so much better. And in my classes, we do a lot of breathing exercises. It's inhale and exhale. And sometimes it helps you get into a deeper stretch when you do that. Sometimes it just helps to clear your head. Sometimes it's part of that whole gratitude. Breathe in and breathe out. It's all going to be okay. So it's all just really good for your whole body and your mind and spirit.
It is. And yet at the same time, it feels like sometimes the biggest chore for some of us.
Yeah,
And I will
sure.
admit some days it does for me, but then when I get back into the routine of doing it every day,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking, 4 days a week at
Sure.
least, sometimes 5, and then I give myself a weekend break. Or if I wasn't able to go during the week, maybe on a Saturday, we went to the gym last week, but it really, when I'm not exercising on a regular basis, I find myself more short fused. I don't sleep as well. It's like my husband and I'm like, okay, Rick, you need to go ride your bike. I need to go to bar. Got to get our act together
That's
here.
right.
But it
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
is important. And I think, when it comes to exercise, a lot of people don't understand that the big heavy weights are not necessary to get in shape and to really listen to your body and just move your body. You don't have to do something strenuous and
Or
exhausting,
overdo it.
especially.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just move your body, get out and walk or
yeah,
do something.
absolutely.
And in
Very
diet though, it's 85% of it is diet, would you say? I've heard
A
this. Is it
lot of it
true?
is diet. You're not going to cure all ills by just exercise for sure, especially if your goal is to slim down and to get toned and defined. So that's when, for me, diets per se didn't work because I felt like I'm depriving myself. And so it kind of goes back to then you're not really a happy person. And therefore that mental state isn't what it should be. And that short fuse is definitely coming out again. So I thought the grapefruit diet or the fasting diet or the this diet or that diet. But the easiest thing for me was cutting my portions in half so that you allowed yourself 2 or 3 bites of that dessert. But you also cut the protein in half, the vegetables in half, the starch in half, the carbs in half. And it was amazing. If you were consistent with that, that's how I lost weight when I was in college, in my junior year of college. And I look at pictures. And of course, this is the area that shows the most is in weight loss, is your face and your neck and your area. So I look at the befores and afters and thought, wow, that's really something. So yes, you can't ignore the fact that what you put in your mouth has a lot to do with your size, you know.
Right. And I use your diet theory myself. Last
Really?
fall, we had 2 hurricanes in a row hit us, and
Oh
we had a
yeah,
lot
I
of
know.
stress, a lot of crazy, and I gained some
Yeah,
weight. I was like, "What is going on?" And so I
sure.
just went, "Okay, I need to like cut back." I think the stress I
Yep.
was eating, I'm more of a stressful eater. Some people stop eating when they're stressed,
Yeah,
but I eat. And so
yeah.
I just started cutting my portions in half and I lost weight. So
And you
it's
lost it
it's
again. Yeah,
portion
it really
size.
works. Yes,
Yeah,
it
our
is. It's
restaurants
portion
here,
control.
yeah, you go out to eat, they give you so much food. So my
They
husband and I,
do.
we split everything all the
We do
time.
too. We
Yeah.
do too. And you find that's plenty. And if you do each want something different, go ahead and get something different, but make them wrap it up for you and take the rest home and eat it for leftovers. I have no problem with leftovers.
Me too.
So we do that a lot. We
Us
really do. And, you're saving money that way, but you're also eating just what your body needs and making yourself say, here's something else. I go back to what I said to you before about visualizing that person that you admire and what are they eating and what is their diet like and would they eat that. Another thing that seems really silly, but I'm going to share it anyway, because once again, sometimes these little tricks and tips will work for someone else. I'll say, okay, so you and I, Michelle, are having a meal together and we're eating and we decide to share a dessert, okay? And I have 3 bites of the dessert and the other half, you've left for me my half and you have your half. And let's just say in this scenario, you eat your whole half and I've had 2 bites of my half. Well, guess what the rest of my half's going to taste like? The same thing that the first 2 bites tasted like. But if I eat the rest of my half, it's all going to go to my hips and thighs or stomach. So I know what it's going to taste like. I got a chance to try it. I'm satisfied. Just push it away.
Right.
So that's what I mean by don't deny yourself everything. Allow yourself to, I love pizza. I love a donut or a donut hole
Oh yeah.
from time to
I'm a
time.
burger and fries girl. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, I love my fries. Me
oh yeah.
too. So you don't want to deny yourself everything. But if you can think about the rest is going to taste exactly like the first part did, but the rest is going to go to my hips. In your mind, you say, let's switch the scenario around. I ate my whole half and you only had your 2 bites of yours. You know what? The rest going to Judy's hips and thighs, but I'm going to stop right now because I don't want it on my hips and thighs. Is
So
that silly?
true.
Is that
No,
stupid?
it's not. I do that. And with Rick, a lot of times he's like, "Oh, I want fries." I'm like, "Okay, good. You get the fries, and then
And
I'll eat
I'll
a
have a
few of
couple.
yours." And then a
Yes. So I
burger,
got
I
that
always
little
cut it in
savory
half.
taste. Me too.
Mhm. And if I
Me too.
go
Those are
beyond that
great
half,
things to do.
I'm miserable. Yeah.
And you're mad at yourself. That's right. You're miserable. So
Right. Yeah.
those are little games that we have to kind of play with ourselves, I think, from time to time. And if
Yes.
that's why I said it's sometimes a little nugget of information that somebody says to you that you go, oh, that's kind of a good idea. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I can try it. She's right. The rest always tastes the same as the first couple bites. So I don't need
Exactly.
the rest.
A lot of times I have friends that are, like you said, that just they're depriving themselves completely of everything and basically almost starving themselves. And then they're miserable. And then they also wonder why they're not losing weight because you have to eat also. Like people feel that if you just, 500 calories a day, you're going to lose weight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't go on that, especially if you're exercising. Your mind in your body needs more calories, and you do need some carbs. I don't,
Yes.
I can't go without carbs completely, but there's the type of carbs that you have, like a sweet
Mm-hmm.
potato instead of a regular white potato,
Mm-hmm.
brown rice instead of white rice. Those are the types of things that I substitute and it works. So, yes, there's so many things that we can do, and it's just called simplifying it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this will be something that I'll look for in your future podcast is nutritional information, because I think that's
Yeah,
fascinating stuff, and new information's coming out about nutrition all the time. Even the
all the
change in the
time.
pyramid and what we were told about, how the pyramid was supposed to be and how it really was completely upside down from what we should have been doing. So
Absolutely. I know.
those will be
And
fun
sometimes
shows to
different
watch
body
too.
types too. Some people,
Hmm.
I do work with a nutritionist, and I've actually recently just talked to her, and we talked about that, how people, their different body types need different types of food.
Yes,
Some
and we do
people,
better on ones than we do on others. Absolutely. I
yes,
believe that. Hmm.
yes. Well, before we wrap up, it's been so much fun. I swear we need to do this more often. I want to ask you if there's one thing that you really feel that if you knew this, or you had told yourself this as a little girl, it would have made a big difference in your life today. If you knew something then that you know now, what would it be that you would share with young Judy?
Hmm. I think that what I would share is that you've got to trust the process, that it really, truly, the highs and lows are very real. Allow yourself to feel, but trust the process, that it's all going to work out, and that you're a really good person, and stop being so hard on yourself. Because I think people like us who are striving all the time and uh, want to do more and have trouble sitting still, feel like we've got to keep going to show that we're worthy. And I think I would say, accept yourself, love yourself. You're a great person. And you don't need to look at outside influences to tell you, atta girl, you did it. You finally made it. But once you get to that next step, you'll be even better. Nah, you have a lot to offer. Just be you. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. My mom, I'll leave you with this one too. This is another good nugget. My mom said to me one time when I was a young girl, I was probably jealous of someone in school or in my career. It looked from the outside like they had it all together. And my mom said, if you were to accept that one attribute that that person had, and you were to say, I want that so bad, I want to switch places. She said, you can't only have that one attribute of that person. You'd have to accept the whole life and everything about that person. Faults, flaws, disappointment, and all. And 99, if not 100% of the time, you'd come back and say, nah, I'm good. Thanks very much. I think I'll just keep what I have. And I thought, wow. And I've lived that thought so many times throughout life, because I think it's a real valuable lesson. I don't think anybody would trade places even though it seems like you'd want to. I think when it came down to, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger. You sure? No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, and it's so true. And when you were sharing that, which was such a good nugget, so many good nuggets there. Think about, when we were growing up, we didn't have social media, and so now everybody's comparing themselves to others, and
There you
probably,
go. Even more
you know,
so.
uh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's we
it's
really
unhealthy.
do need to be our own best friends,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
be kind to ourselves, and understand, like, if you asked your best friend, what's great about me? If I said, Judy, what's great about me? Which I think I've done that before.
Oh
Because I
gosh,
don't know right now, because I'm in a really bad
because I'm
way. And
not feeling it.
and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
girl, you're this, you're that, you're the other, blah, 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 blah. And I've done the same for you, when we've had,
Mm-hmm.
darker times and stuff. And it's like, thankfully we have each other and our other friends to remind us who we are.
Sure,
But it's super
sure.
important that we also remind ourselves, because we are amazing just as we are. And
Yes,
we
yes.
need to be our own best friends and think,
Hmm.
okay, Michelle, you're great. You're
Yeah,
funny. You're smart.
yeah.
You're kind. You're loving. You're kind of kooky sometimes, whatever it is. But really, like write in your journal, what's great about you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I agree with you. I think that would probably be something I would remind my younger self as well. So, but
Mm,
thank you for
mm.
being such a good friend, and thank you for sharing your amazing wisdom with us today. And
Oh gosh.
please share how people can find out about you and your jewelry line, as well as your
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
page.
Okay, so well, the jewelry, which is pretty much sterling silver and a little dabbling in some gemstones, and it's going to expand because we're working on a lot of things, my manufacturer and I, but it's available on Kohl's.com, not in the stores, but on the website, and then on Amazon. And all you have to do is search my name, Judy Crowell, and it'll pop up. And Shop Gemistry is one that a lot of people don't know about. All one word, shopgemmistry.com. And, it's funny, they all play with prices. So I would have fun looking around and noodling because some of them, they're having sales or new things will come in. It'll go to this source before it goes to that source. So and then QVC, keep your eyes on QVC
Let
because
me
you'll see my name
know.
pop up again there too.
Maybe we'll be there
I know.
together because I'm going
Oh,
to be
wouldn't
at
that be fun?
HSN, and now HSN is up in Pennsylvania. So
Right, right. Oh, wouldn't that be
wouldn't
great?
that be
There's just so
fun?
many neat. Yeah, that would be really, really fun. Keep your fingers crossed. I have a big meeting. It'll probably be past by the time that your podcast comes up. But as we're doing the podcast right now, it's tomorrow. So the big meeting is tomorrow, and they set aside like an hour and a half to go over all kinds of neat. So it could be really big. So I'm excited about that.
Oh,
And
I'm so
then
excited.
and then the workouts, yeah, definitely check out YouTube and Judy Crowell Style or Get Fit with Judy. And I'd love for you to try the videos and subscribe to the channel so that when new videos come out, you'll always be notified and you can do the next one.
Absolutely. And they're wonderful, wonderful videos.
Thank you.
Easy, fun, and who wouldn't want to have arms like you? I'm still trying.
This has been
Uh,
so much fun, Michelle. I really
oh,
appreciate and am honored that you think that I had enough to share with you and with your audience to do a podcast with you. It's a real honor.
oh, well, I'm so grateful for you being here. And as I mentioned in the email when I reached out to you, you were top of mind because I was like, oh my gosh, you have been so inspiring to me throughout the years and such
Oh,
a good friend. And we always have such fun conversations and interesting
yeah.
conversations that I thought,
Yes. And sometimes very deep conversations.
yes, exactly. And we talked about this earlier, sometimes with a little wine.
Yeah.
Sitting in
And
a
your
pool
doctor
for
said that's not
hours.
a bad thing. Yeah.
Here in Florida, we've sat in a pool or floated around a pool for hours just talking and trying to figure out life. Yeah, years ago.
That's right. Right. All the
Yeah.
answers, they're out there
Uh,
somewhere.
Yes, and our kids and all kinds of fun stuff. So thank you,
Yeah.
and just I love you dearly. I
I
love you
love you
dearly.
too, Michelle. Thank
Mm,
you.
yeah,
Great to see you again.
you too,
Mwah.
sweetie. Mwah. Judy, this has been a wonderful and beautiful, inspiring conversation. I am so glad you joined us today. We're going to have you back again because your wisdom is just incredible and we could have talked for hours. I know so many of you listening today would like to reach out to Judy, so make sure that you do so. The link is in the notes of the show. And before we wrap up, I just want to say, if you love this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who maybe needs to hear this message. Let's keep this conversation going. I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. And I also want to thank our sponsor, Keranique. And until next time, just remember, beauty is not about fitting into anyone else's mold. It's about embracing who you are every stage of life. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please feel free to share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you'd like to receive my free beauty and wellness gifts, just go to my website, michellephillips.com. I also invite you to join my social media community on Facebook and Instagram, Michelle Phillips Beauty.